international wildcard qualifiers for the World Cup.
That's the only time you get to. As a wildcard region, until you go overseas and still you start competing internationally, there's no other times that you really get to test your mettle in this way. And credit to the Japanese lineup because they always bring something special.
They certainly do. But we have now entered pick and ban for the third game of the day between Detonation, Focusme, and the Chiefs. You can see the first 5 on your screen. Number 6 is coming out within 5 seconds, and Zillion taken away from Seros.
And speaking of credit where it's due, they've given credit to Seros. They've recognized that the Zillion seems to be a big factor here for this Japanese side, and they've taken that off the board, and I do like that.
But they have actually banned the Azir to get it away from Swiffer, and it's because they wanted that pick on your screen. They go with the Kalista. Chiefs thought they might be able to get it again. This time it's going over to Rokenia.
Really smart. Like the fact that they can actually get the denial first pick. There's still a lot of champions readily available to them. Something worth noting is that the Shen was actually banned by Swiper. This would be a very interesting adaptation to having the Kalista picked away from them, is let's just kill the Kalista.
Certainly an option. Fiora, we saw him last in the LPL, where LGD took it in the grand finals. And, you know, I like the Rokenia on Kalista. He got the pentakill in the video that we saw earlier on. We know that he can play it to exceptional ability. How does Radier deal with that? How did the Chiefs shut down a Kalista?
So Radier is actually, you know, as much as he is a Kalista player, he plays generally lane bullies every time else. He plays Korka, Sivir, and Lucian. They're like his 3 big picks, so I'm sure he's more than happy to march into a laning phase and see if he can take it to him. And Spooks, once again, gets a high-pressure jungler.
And first and foremost, it's Swiper that's actually going to be the counter to the Kalista, because
he's
the
play
option
Maokai.
of Maokai, well and truly available. He may not like the champion, but the team likes him on that champion, so the option's there for them.
Yeah, this is going to be beautiful. This is going to be a Maokai Lulu comp if we know the Chiefs, and everyone's going to hate what they're playing, but they'll play it anyway.
We'll see if they can pull out their second win of the game, the day against Detonation Focusme, as they look for their second draft phases. Astorore was looking at Blitzcrank. Something tells me he's not going to be taking that as he hovers back over the Gragas that he took in his previous game and actually played to pretty moderate success.
Yeah, he certainly did. He plays a lot of Gragas, a lot of Rek'Sai himself, so if the Rek'Sai is taken away, expect him to default back to that all tournament long, and we'll see whether he's able to get in and affect the bottom lane a little bit more successfully this time, because Crystal stalked him around the map well.
Yeah, and one thing to note is Crystal naturally stalks people around. That's why he wants to go towards the Rek'Sai, but every single jungler in this wildcard tournament has a preference of map control over being very gank heavy. They work around invading, controlling the opposition jungle to then produce picks and make ganks from that. So these two champions going to be hand in hand as what we will see in this.
And I feel like ganking has become something in League of Legends that is just such a huge risk to be able to throw at it. You know, if you go into a lane first, especially if you don't have the correct vision, things can go wrong. That's why we see jungle support, if you do want to gank, going in as a 2-man unit. And maybe a little bit more aggression coming out of this Chiefs. A lot of knockups, but also some good AoE damage. Swiffer once again on Victor.
Yeah, Victor Alistar now locked in for Swiffer. He was able to win against the Bangkok Titans with it in game number 1 today, doing enormous damage. We saw him absolutely destroy poor Lloyd.
We also saw him destroy Moss and lose a team fight. Yeah. So, you know, there's always that hope if you're Detonation Focusme. Kazu, watch out.
Certainly a scary thing to consider. Watch out, Kazu is an interesting thing to bring up, though.
Well, he wanted that support last time. Yeah. So bad that he was willing to use every ability to get him.
You do what works, Spawn.
Well, did that work, Zach? Did that work?
We can only hope that he watched our analyst segment on how to properly place your Victor ultimates.
I guarantee he did not.
Hopefully you will be able to perform well. Detonation Focusme. Look for Diana now locked in for Seros, and Maokai is going to be taken away from Swiper.
Yeah, they've actually taken Maokai from the Chiefs. Is the most important thing to actually get from all of this is the counter to the Kalista has been known. We said this earlier. Swiper would be looking for that Maokai. Now, not an option for him. So where will he default to from here?
Fizz.
And just kill the Kalista? Chase it around?
Thought you might say that.
Yeah, no, I think that if the final showed us anything in Oceania, it's that Swiper does have a much bigger preference this time around to play the carry top laner, something like a Fizz, maybe even a Rumble if they want to layer some of that damage. Hecarim also a very good pickup against Rokenia's choice. But as always, Maokai more of a neutralizing lane, very hard to shove him off farm, so we'll see if that is what they want to go towards.
And works with the lane swap as well, something that the Chiefs showed their hand earlier that they are very capable and able of doing, is that if they have Yutapon on Maokai, he can follow around Astarorae in the jungle very easily.
Yep, so it is going to be the Hecarim.
Yeah, Hecarim locked in for the Chiefs for that last pick, chasing Kalista down rather effectively without unit collision. Should make for a better top lane, but those are our final team compositions on screen.
And you have to say, maybe a little bit more aggression this time out of Detonation Focusme, not really a protect the AD carry lineup. Instead, they've got double teleports going to be able to force fights around the map. Seros probably going for the Nashes too, the bit more of a split pushing build. And on the Chiefs lineup, they have the big teleport flanks that will come out of Swiper and see if they can smash the AD carry and gain control of the map that way.
I feel like a lot of this does come down to the teleports that you mentioned and how they're executed, because the real issue here for the Chiefs is the 1-3-1 potential threat that can be brought out. In saying that, Spooks on Rek'Sai, we've actually seen it from him in the past. He'll go to the side lane, and he'll be the one to deal with that other split-pushing threat.
Yeah, we've actually even seen him in games where he knows he has to be the split pusher, pick up something like a Black Cleaver to help out his split pushing, because, you know, it's a very real threat, especially as soon as you see the double teleport. You go into the Maokai lane as a Rek'Sai, you make sure that the Hecarim is the one dealing with the damage source, which will be the Diana. You put your jungler into the laner with the top laner. There's not really much they can do there. They neutralize each other. All of a sudden, you have this fourth member of the Chiefs picking up all this farm.
We'll have to see how that works out for the Chiefs. Once again, they've got the momentum coming into this set. Can they carry it through into another victory as they look to get to their last game of the day against Turkey later on? Certainly, it would be a great boon if they can pull it off, but Detonation Focusme looking to reclaim a win of their own.
Yes, certainly. They want to get one back. It is round robin, and of course, being one down is never a position you want to find yourself in. So coming into this second game in a row, they're warmed up now, they're ready to go. Surely they'll find their stead soon.
Yeah, and they certainly have been able to put together a pretty good team comp right now, so we'll see whether the Japanese lineup can make the adaptations very quick. They're playing the back-to-back right now, and see if they can take it to the Oceanic team.
Yeah, we do actually have a pause at the start of the game right now. We're going to work that out and get right back into it in just a moment. Should be a relatively brief one, but let's talk a little bit about Detonation Focusme. You know, we've talked about how the Chiefs are going to play with spooks around the map. We've talked a little bit about the double teleport of Detonation Focusme, but again, Rokinia, he's on that Kalista. It was first pick for them.
Yeah, Kalista Thresh is just such a bully lane. They have to see whether they can get ahead in CS this time around. We talk about how Kalista, with especially the Blade of the Ruined King, into the three-prong weird item. Hurricane.
Runar's Hurricane.
Thank you very much.
That was easy for you, huh?
Fizz weapon. So I could get from
Tried it. He tried it. No, the Runar's Hurricane. So Rokinia will have such a cheap threshold on the items, and it gives double attack speed. You ramp up really quickly as a Kalista, so being able to control the early game, it's not like you need the big crit, need the attack speed item to augment it there with the Infinity Edge as well as a PD or a static shift. So also with sustain earlier on in the map is a little bit safer. So, you know, I like the Thresh for this team. Means that they have a much smoother curve throughout the game. And right now the pressure is on Radier and the Chiefs to be able to set up ganks and, you know, the team fight skirmish style with that Sivir ultimate, the big donkey whistle, the go button. So it's going to be about execution and who can get it done quicker.
So I like that you brought up the fact that they were the only lane behind here from Detonation Focusme in that last game. They were struggling a lot up against the Kog'Maw matchup, and that may indicate that the Chiefs want to go for standard lanes and bully them out in the 2v2 again. But you look at that lane that you just spoke about and how overwhelmingly strong it is. I would be surprised if the Chiefs actually took the 2-on-2 and didn't lane swap, because they've got the Sivir to take down objectives like they're nothing.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I think the Chiefs will see if they can get the deep vision.
Yeah, and we have loaded onto the Rift. It's Detonation Focusme versus the Chiefs. Third game of the first day of the International Wildcard Qualifiers for Worlds 2015. Looks like we do have both AD carries on the bottom side right now, but it's still very early. Yeah, Kazu died.
Oh, he's back.
Oh, okay, good. All right. So we have loaded in. We're seeing a pretty much 5-point defense coming out of the two. Doesn't look like Kazu is going to get aggressive once again.
Oh, not again. I just hate that the ducks are on top of each other.
Duckception.
It's the one thing that annoys me.
Duckception, mate.
Have you guys seen the turtle yet?
30 seconds until
Turtle?
minions
Yeah.
I've only ever seen the ducks.
It only pops up in like once of every 10 games or something, or 1 out of every 20.
So, oh, God.
The answer's no then. I've only ever seen the double duck. Raiders going to be a scumbag and scare it, I have no doubt.
He's not going to show himself.
Better not.
He's respecting the tranquility of the situation.
So the Chiefs right now, they're going for a blind lane swap. Probably just going to crowd in the middle. of Summoner's Rift. Wait until they see a member, then head towards their lane. It's very, especially if you scout out teams, it's very easy to tell their tendency whether they do like to go towards the top side of the map, and without vision, they're going to assume that Detonation Focusme are on the bottom side.
Yeah, it's also an immediate decision opposed to a wait and see style of play, because generally if you're waiting to see, you will be in that mid lane as mentioned. So the fact that they've gone straight to a jungle camp in that top lane, they want to be in that lane swap scenario essentially, and they're not looking to get the 2 versus 2, but they're not going to wait and see to avoid it. They're just going to go all in on it.
See, both of the duo lanes want to get a little bit of experience before going to lane. Kalista Thresh takes it a lot quicker with the Soul Link. So we'll see whether the Chiefs are able to get up there, and if they start a hard shove, or whether they try and reverse the lane off the turret. Yeah, this is, once again, they're going to gank mid lane.
Yeah. Standard E-Gym, get level 2 from all of the experience and then go mid.
He's now separated from Radier, running down to the mid lane. Does Syros know that this is happening?
Do the Chiefs members go to the other side of the lane? No, they're going to blue buff.
Ooh,
That
Syros
was just Avian.
playing to that side. He gets knocked up. Oh, misses the combo. Oh, flash, and Syro gets out.
Didn't miss the combo. Headbutted intentionally to prolong the duration of how long he was going to be locked down. Swiffer level 2 doesn't have the damage to instantly blow someone up when
He also has heal.
presented.
Like, Syros was in no danger at all. That was, from that time on, it was cow auto attacks and Victor laser beams. But he does get the summoner spell, so Chase with an earlier advantage.
Yeah, we'll see if Spooks can take advantage of that, as Kazu and Rokinia seem to be last hitting nice and calmly, while the top laners are spending a lot of time in the jungle to catch up in CS. And after that early gank, seems like everyone's content to deal with this lane swap appropriately.
So they send their top laners back to lane, see whether they can get anything going. Gonna have to see whether Spooks gets in here and tries to get a gank down, because both he and Swiper did get level 3 and 2 respectively. E-Gem's also there, so this is a dangerous moment actually for the Detonation Focusme lineup. If they get killed here, it's so rough.
Mind you, Asterore is right there, and he's prepared for this. So.
Oh, he's spotted out by Spooks over the wall. He could find E-Gem. Here comes the Kalista spin.
Really nice one. Oh, gonna get it.
That was super smart though from the Gragas.
And Swiper's been chunked out. He's gonna get it. Oh, he already was ignited as well.
Yeah. Kazu going very aggressive in that lane along with Rokinia. They're going to be the ones trying to take a lane advantage in this set.
So Swiper didn't burn any potions, it doesn't look like. Just that Flask, going to be able to teleport back in lane. That's why you don't use it. And it looks like a lot better of an early game this time for Detonation Focusme. Rokinia and Kazu putting out a lot of lane presence.
Yeah, for the bot lane in particular, they are doing very well. But they've also got slanted lanes. It's not exactly standard, because Radair is up against the tree in that top lane. He's not going to be looking to be interactive whatsoever. He's more so going to control the minions so that he gets all of the farm that he possibly can before it comes back to standard. So ideally that BF sword, so that he can come back in with a relative item strength, and that if he directly hits the other person, and it's not for a prolonged trade because it is Kalista, where Rokinia would win, otherwise Radair will.
Spooks looking for another gank onto Syros in the mid lane. Doesn't quite find it as Syros gets out with his life. He already returned to base for the standard Diana double Doran's rings to try to keep in lane. But Swiffer still trading out as best he can. 5 minutes in, it's a calm, patient game.
Yeah, neither team really giving away much right now. You can see Radiant continuing to push into the Heck Room. It's meaning that both top laners getting relatively good farm and experience at this stage of the game. Syros, with that extra buy, going to turn into a lane bully as this continues on. Swiffer doesn't really have the resources to be able to chunk him out. And actually, bottom lane's being forced to reverse, so now maybe Swiper gets denied.
You know, the fact that they're getting equal farm though for the top laners thus far is almost favoring the Chiefs, because the 2v2 lane was not what they were aiming for. So they've definitely come out not directly ahead, but favorably given what has happened to them so far. The question is, as you mentioned, Swiper could start getting denied, whereas the top lane's a 1v1, so he's never going to get denied from farm.
Rokinia continue to try getting some CS in the bottom. Neither of the AD carries seem to be content on shoving the turret just yet.
They must know that Spooks is there.
Oh, they just spotted him. Rokinia will take a lantern, Flay denies the knockup. Kazu looks to go for the hook, but doesn't find it.
If that was a hook, that was nearly a guaranteed kill. Actually, no Ignite, they're going in.
Flash knockup, they're turning it around. Rokini is the target. Teleport from Utapon looks to join them. He's going to make it in time. There's no teleport from Swiper because he's already there. It's a 3 versus 3, and it looks like Ejim might be first blood, picked up by Rokini. Swiper is locked down. Oh, he's trying to pick up a kill onto Kazu. He's doing so much. He gets the dangerous Game Master. He finally goes down. Spooks flashes, but Rokini rends him to death.
Rokini able to pick up a triple kill in that bottom lane scuffle. All of a sudden, it's a 1,300 gold lead for the Detonation Focusme lineup, and that's greedy. They didn't have the teleport in the top lane. Raiders up there as the AD carry, and they give so much away.
And that was too much that they just gave away. This Kalista is going to be at a point where nobody on the map at any stage for the next 10 to 15 minutes can even consider fighting him. He is going to be huge. And that is a very scary prospect for the Chiefs, because not only is he ahead, Dyna's doing work. And we got that replay spawn.
Yeah, so you have a look here. They go aggressive with the flash engage, but that means once they're in, they can't out. Utapon smashes first before he twisted advance. And that just means the chase continues. The persistent damage of an AD carry in this fight is so huge. Chiefs think they can reverse it because they finally have the minion aggro, but you can see Rokini with the Ren just doesn't go down, clutches out on the second Ren because of the reset, and all of a sudden they've swapped Rokini into the top lane because they know that Raider is going to run.
Yeah, and smartly so. They are very aware that Raider doesn't want to be against him, so they're going to control anywhere they can get objectives for free. So you can already see the pings on the minimap. Rokini doing exactly what Raider did, honestly, in their first game. He has rotated to a lane where the objectives can now go very handily towards himself, and there shouldn't be any contest.
Yeah, the danger is if they give up Dragon here because of the 2v1 in the bottom side of the map, and therefore lose an objective, but they will be able to pick up the top turret at least, you think.
Yeah, they may keep going, to be honest.
So it will be a gold trade at the least. Yeah, they definitely can. Unless Swiffer rotates up there, not really the wave clear they need.
Chiefs look to secure their first Dragon in this set, but another Tier 1 will shortly fall to Detonation Focusme. No, that's actually the first one. And this time, Rokini feeling so much better than his previous game. It's not going to be a 60 CS deficit this time around. Well, hopefully not yet.
I guess the question is, Japan, the Japanese side, they've actually traded gold for just the Dragon, so the Dragon win condition is always going to be there for the Chiefs, and they're denying the first Dragon from Detonation Focusme. But gold is much stronger for actually snowballing a game out through item advantages, which then allows you to team fight.
They're still going right here.
Yeah, so they actually denied a lot of minions, by the way, which is why they shouldn't be able to keep going here.
Yeah.
But they are.
Tier 2 is still going to stand. Radier looks to answer on the other side of the map, but Utapon will keep his Tier 1 standing. And Radier, with his BF sword, will just continue to play safe. We're seeing recall out of Utapon, and looks like Rokini the same.
So Swiper has a cannon creep, so he can hold the lane there for a very long time. So Utapon probably going to get denied a little bit of CS, going to have to overextend at the least to be able to secure it. At the same time, Radier's got a huge creep wave. It's about to smash into the turret. Chiefs might be able to get one back here just because of a little bit of misplay. They greeded out on being able to continue the push in the top lane and didn't get anything for it. That fights Detonation Focusme quite hard, actually, because right now they're in the driver's seat. They should be, like, especially with a Blade of the Ruined King, Radier doesn't want anything to do with the lane, but now that he's got the turret, he can just go back top, avoid the Kalista for as long as possible.
Yeah, and they had no reason to get that turret down, to be perfectly honest with you. We mentioned it as they were hitting the turret. They let minions die, and then they decided to continue to push. But they couldn't get anything because there was no minions as they'd let them die. So that free turret, you mentioned how important it is for Radier to avoid the Kalista. It's just super important for the map in general because they're going to naturally go back towards the bottom lane. And Swiper's kept this frozen for a prolonged period of time.
And look how far back it's starting. They only let one kill. All of a sudden, there's another creep wave coming. So it will be double creep wave when it hits the turret. Chiefs should be able to pick up another objective. They've even gone for the Berserker boots on Siva before anything else to see if they can get some extra pushing power. But at the same time, Detonation Focusme with this 3-0-0 Kalista doing the same thing.
Yeah, they're going to take the bottom Tier 1, now up 2 turrets to 1. Might look for some pressure onto that bottom lane Tier 2 as Radier looks to rush down another one. Here comes Spooks. He's going to find Asterore as he smites out his Wolf Camp. Will he be able to keep this turret standing?
Their wave clear is lacking without the Victor or the Sivir nearby, so they need to rotate more than just Swiper to deal with this, or it will go down eventually. Of course, the trade's being made by Raider. We can see that happening, but a second turret for one is definitely not working.
Yeah, the Chiefs trying to make their presence known at the least in this bottom lane to stop the bleeding. They equalize the turret objective, 700 gold the lead right now. You have to think majority of that is sitting on the AD carry. The Jutapon nearly goes back to base.
Yeah, they almost went on a journey.
Yeah, Radier is going to make it out. It's now 2 turrets to 2, still 1,000 gold in favor of Detonation Focusme because of those additional kills onto Rokinia. And Detonation Focusme have been playing around the map very well to get that Rokinia damage spike onto the turrets that they need to. Big question is, what's next?
Yeah, so Dragon probably going to be the next major objective that we see fight over. The problem with Sivir as well as the Kalista, probably not going to be able to push into mid lane at this point in the game, although they can definitely send the Kalista towards that area and start split pushing with the Diana, who has very real kill threat on at least Radier at this stage of the game, if not Swiper as well. So we'll see exactly how they want to play it out. Chiefs probably just want to continue to delay, honestly. No one wants to fight a 3-0-0 Kalista, and they're doing a good job of it so far.
So I like what they've done here. Syros is itemized for his lane, so he's looking to not die in lane, just stay up in farm and maybe work towards that second item. And that's perfectly fine, given that they have the 3-0 Kalista, because right now they can be the one that split pushes and actually just utilize the strength and the fact that Raider doesn't want to be there, get down those turrets, get down those objectives, and then start to pressure the middle lane once they're all down from the side lanes, and have Diana split push with that teleport.
And here comes a big collapse. Kazu into the jungle. They've got 2 deep wards. Detonation Focusme, we said that when they're ahead, they set up for objectives very well, and you're seeing that out of their jungler and support. They've just gained control over the Dragon area. And the Chiefs only with 1 ward, none of their deep vision that we're used to seeing. Probably going to be forced to give up Dragon number 2.
Have to see if they will, as currently it looks like the Chiefs are content to sit back, defend the turrets that are still standing. Don't try to contest the vision, as that Kalista will destroy you if she finds you. Dragon's up in a minute, but Scuttlecrab currently is being taken by Chiefs, and Spooks looks to secure his own red. Not to mention, both of the top laners have got teleport available, so we'll see if any action breaks out for now, as once again, everyone just continues to farm it up.
So you wonder where the Chiefs gank the top lane right now, see if they can get Swiper rolling, because they can't realistically contest the bottom of the map and have decent wave clear there at least. Right now, like, as we said, probably stall is the aim of the game, just because the gold, whilst relatively close, is skewed on who it is on it, because Kalista's just so strong at this stage of the game.
So that's honestly the best idea the Chiefs could possibly have here, because every other lane has the wave clear, and they just need the Hecarim to be the strongest so that he can
Only
take
danger is that
down
Seros can get there.
Yeah. So that is very true. But again, if the Hecarim is at least big enough to deal with anyone that he's against, he will be fine. The other lanes are always going to be okay in terms of dealing with Siege, and the Siege isn't that great from Detonation Focusme unless they dive. So there's a lot of positives to what is going on here, but I mean, this Japanese side, they don't look like slowing down yet.
Yeah, they certainly have got the momentum. Interestingly enough, the gold has evened up between the teams. Detonation Focusme barely 300 gold ahead, as Dragon number 1 was just secured by Detonation Focusme. And, you know, they do have the momentum. They secured the Dragon just now by putting out that superior vision control, and they even were able to steal away the blue buff. But Chiefs, they seem to be okay with it.
Yeah, exactly right. This is something that we often say about the Chiefs, that they are good in the early game, but if they lose the early game, they're just more than happy to give it up completely, wait till it goes late, start team fighting. So we'll see whether that continues, as Seros looking to get aggressive on Swipper. Death sentence did miss.
He's going to walk away with his safety. A big concern, though, for the Chiefs has been their mid game in the past. They've got a strong early game with a good laning phase. They can team fight like monsters, like nobody's business. But they're going up against a Diana, a Kalista who's 3-0. Can they even survive the mid game to make it to that late spike?
Yeah, so that's the concern, is the Chiefs, you mentioned their strengths and their weakness being that skirmish side. They're against a team that can skirmish, But the strategy seems to be very set in stone from this Detonation Focusme side that I don't think it'll come down too heavily to skirmishing. And that's mostly because Chiefs aren't allowing that to happen. They're playing like they never want to skirmish. They just want to farm up.
They're
just
freezing lanes. This is like super dangerous. There's a reason we don't see this is because it's so easy to brute force. But with the, so they finally start pushing out. I was going to say with the potential, I guess, anti-dive of Alistair, the Rek'Sai, as well as Swiffer's Victor in the mid lane, it looks like they were very content to just allow that to happen.
Patient play from the Chiefs as they're awaiting this one out. Detonation Focusme trying to reclaim momentum. Well, they've got momentum, trying to maintain it. But it seems like Chiefs are putting some brakes on to Detonation Focusme just by sitting and being safe.
That's exactly what they'll continue to do until they find their way in. The Chiefs always looking for that vision control to translate that into something else. And I mean, they're doing it really well right now. And this is the Japanese side that just aren't finding a way in.
Yeah, exactly right. They've started the split push. They think that maybe Diana can pressure a turret, see if she can maybe dive once she picks up the Zhonya's Hourglass and get Radiant away from a lane. At that stage, it has to be Hecarim, you think, that responds to it. So will Swiper be at the level to be able to do so? The Chiefs wave clear. This is honestly where they come up trumps because they're not going anywhere in the mid lane. They're just sitting there and continuing to clear wave after wave, and it's onto the control mage, it's onto Victor, who honestly we saw last time has the potential to just delete an AD carry at will.
Yeah, and again, it's on the back of Japan now. They need to actually make something happen proactively. They're playing slow, they're being very methodical in their styles, and they're working around the dragon, which has been the free objective. So they're getting the vision. But all they've really gotten is the dragon from it. They use the 3-0 advantage to get a turret in the top lane, a single turret in the bottom lane, but that was all traded and matched by the Chiefs. So overall, the only advantage they've really got is 3 kills on the Kalista.
Syros is going to steal the Gromp away from poor Spooks on that side of the jungle as Syros continues to split push. Asterore and Kazu look to snag away the Raptor camp, in which they succeed, but
they got the big one. Little ones went over to the mid laner, and you can see that this is a definite tactic right now. Isolate the mid lane, continue to get farm onto your AD carry, sweep out wards, try and pressure the map, and leave Diana to do her thing down bot.
Detonation Focusme continue to look for a crack in the Chiefs' armor, but so far their defense has been impenetrable. Since that first blunder fight in the bottom lane, that did give the 3 kills over to Rokinia. They haven't dropped a thing, sacrificing that first dragon, though it looks like Spooks might be pulling the trigger.
Yeah, they ping to go in here onto Syros, and he's making the adaptation to go bottom now. He's got enough damage to deal with Radar. It was mentioned that he's possibly going to look for that. But the way that he's going about it and the way that Raider's dealing with it is that he doesn't want to be in that lane if the Diana is visible.
Yeah,
and they're both doing that.
Have a creep wave.
Yeah. But you're going to push it anyway.
Yeah.
You want auto attack. You've got a passive.
Things nice and slow for now as Detonation Focusme cannot find any openings. Dragon's going to be coming up in a minute, and the Chiefs, looks like we're starting to see some signs of life from them as they're starting to pressure forward with their vision. Might they try to contest this upcoming dragon?
I don't even think they have to. Right now you can see that their game plan is like really solid. Just continue to farm out, continue to funnel CS onto all their 3 big carries. They think that because they, once again, have a 3 threat comp. I can't speak about this enough. The Chiefs feel that when they have 3 threats, at least one of them is going to get up. And right now, although the game is relatively even, you have to say that you trust in the Hecarim's power to be able to get in the Kalista's face. You trust in Victor being able to zone people away from that fight. So the Chiefs are probably content. At the same time, Detonation Focusme, they can continue to build this objective lead, although the Chiefs now looking for a pick.
Yeah, they've shown a lot of confidence with working around objectives here, Detonation Focusme, but right now the Chiefs seem to be looking and waiting for an opportunity to actually make a pick around the dragon because they're the ones with complete control of the entirety of the bottom side river.
Scary situation for Detonation Focusme. Kazu was suddenly having flashbacks to what happened to the last support who faced Swiffer. He's not going to end up walking too far forward. Dragon spawns and Chiefs are in the pit.
Wow, and this is crazy. The fact that they're willing to start this one up. Maybe they have home guard boots and they don't even have a ward over the back of the pit. Like, there is nowhere they can go right now. but they still look like they want to fight.
They're just going to push mid here, and they're going to take the advantage. Of course, home guards are there for the Hecarim, but this favors Detonation Focus.
Yeah, 100%. Detonation Focusme cannot siege, and the Chiefs just give away a free gold objective. Detonation Focusme still going for it.
Interesting trade out of
Kazu
the
was
Chiefs.
ulted.
Yeah, decided to pull it out. Rokinia takes the dark passage to safety. Ejim looks for
Whoa.
the flank. Swifford flashes and dodges the hook. Radier spell shields the play. He's going to be targeted by Unipon. Can he deal out enough damage? Rokinia is knocked up in the back. They're doing everything they can to try knocking him away. Radier finally goes down to Siros. It's so much damage from the Detonation Focusme lineup. Ejim will fall. Swiper might be the next to follow, but that was 3 for 2.
I have absolutely no idea what happened in that team fight. Somehow Chiefs was in the middle of everyone. I would love to see the replay, but Detonation Focusme rolling over the Oceanic side.
Yeah, they take the mid-tier 2. Swiper trying to defend his inhibitor, but he doesn't succeed. Siros dives onto Spooks and zones him out, but this inhibitor turret could go down.
There was no reason for the Chiefs to be fighting right there, and on a silver platter, Detonation Focusme. They find themselves the inhibitor turret, the middle second turret, and the first one. They just get the biggest snowball of gold that honestly should not have been there for them. They played it well, but Swift has already flashed.
Yeah, so Swift has flashed. He gets played back in. Oh, and cast into the middle of the fight. Astorore coming up huge, and you can see Radiant runs through the tanks, and Siros destroys him. Then everyone else is just forced to run. They don't have the items they need to fight.
Yeah, honestly, Rakinia's too far ahead right now, and we were waiting for the big item spikes out of the Chiefs. Well, they've got the Trinity Force now. I don't actually think they had that before the fight started. The middle lane's only now working on that second item compared to the Zonias that is available for Siros. That was not the time to fight. If they were looking to hit a power spike and utilize that to negate any gold advantages, well, they did not pick the ideal scenario. And Detonation Focusme, they capitalize on it real well.
They have got so much more momentum now. Finally, they find the crack in the Chiefs' armor, more so to the Chiefs, showing it to them and saying, look, you can attack us right here.
Yeah, pretty much.
We'll have to see if the Chiefs can appropriately respond to this situation, because they played defensive. They traded over that first dragon, or they traded over that dragon, but then they made the mistake of team fighting once again. What did the Chiefs do to stop Detonation Focusme?
Well, all they had to do was sit there and continue to anti-siege. Like we said, that the problem with the Detonation Focusme lineup is that they can't siege. But now that they've got a gold lead, what they can do is force fights around big objectives like the Baron, because they have the Callista. Chiefs going to have to play very good reactionary League of Legends to make this work.
This may not be a big deal. I just want to point out that there is a ward next to the open inhibitor and a Dyna with teleport.
Oh, Swiffer gets caught. Kazu thrown in, lands the melee range hook. Rokinia, 404 error. Death not found. This guy is on a roll.
Nice.
So Chiefs going to cede away Baron. It doesn't look like they want to fight it, although now they're going in.
The teleport from Diana.
Kazu's very low. Siros trying to zone.
It's too hard to deal with Rakinia's, what is better than a smite. So the Chiefs, if they go in, this is going to be real risky.
They need to win the fight.
Wow. A 4-man knockup is going to drop one member. The Baron goes low. It's going to be secured by Detonation Focusme, and Rokinia is still alive on the outside of the pit. Radier is running for his life, but Detonation Focusme clean it up. 4 for 2 DFM.
And Ceres just absolutely destroyed everyone after the Zhonya's Hourglass. Somehow the Callista got out the back of the pit and was able to live. Baron's still available on 3 members. It was a 2 for 4 overall if you count Swiffer's death. And the gold lead continues to grow.
This engage from Ejin was phenomenal. Swiper follows it through, and Raiders just sitting at the back line. But the second Siros gets on top of him, Raider no longer exists and has to run away from the fight, and then they just decimate every single person. That engage was great from the Chiefs, but it was also 5 minutes too late.
Detonation Focusme now looking to apply the Baron buff to the next opening of the Chiefs, as the Chiefs once again take a fight that they clearly were not prepared to deal with. And Detonation Focusme continue to put pressure on. They're up by 7,000 gold. They've got an open inhibitor. They've got the Baron buff. 407 Callista.
They were prepared to deal with that fight. They didn't have much of a choice in that respect. Detonation Focusme are forcing the objectives. Around Dragon and Baron is where they seem to be their strongest.
Yeah.
And the Kalista only adds to that even more so. And the Chiefs were forced into this situation where they have to fight. The only issue is the fight that they had earlier over the Dragon was not necessary for the Chiefs. And that's what got them so far behind, that the Baron was right picking for this Japanese side.
Now they're going to be able to move in, take even more freestanding gold off the map. It's up to 8,000 now for the Japanese lineup. Once again, looking to burst their way into international competition. Weren't happy with their performance against the Turkish squad, but the Chiefs gave up power picks like the Kalista, and honestly, they've been made to pay from the first moment.
Scary situation for the Chiefs as Detonation Focusme escort a fresh wave of minions towards that open inhibitor that they previously cracked.
Yeah, no, that's gone.
Wow. Look to let it go. The inhibitor falls. Detonation Focusme now control that mid lane.
They were looking for a flank from Swiper. He was sitting in base with the teleport and home guards available, but the lack of numbers directly at the inhibitor indicates that they can very freely take that one down, and they do so, now working towards their next objective.
Dragon number 2 going to be secured by Detonation Focusme. They've still got Baron for another 2 minutes. Looks like they're going to get a quick recall in before they look to take some even scarier objectives for the Chiefs. Is that a Phage on Rokinia?
Yep. It's been there for a while. Going for the Black Cleaver. The Rage Pass is very good on Kalista. Able to make her hop away, speed her up a little bit in between auto attacks. Not to mention the fact that going for maximum armor penetration out of her own build. No one else really benefits from it on the team, but trying to get it done. Do I love it? Definitely not. Is it okay? Yeah, sure.
You just go Alacrity boots and the job's done.
But he's a full item up, dude. Like, doesn't even matter at this stage.
Well, no, it doesn't matter. That's very true.
So then what does matter for the Chiefs? How do they deal with this 407 Kalista with the 502 Zanya's Diana?
I don't know, somehow drop a Chaos Storm directly on her noggin.
It has to be Swiper, but he doesn't have the itemization to actually deal with it. That's the biggest concern here for the Chiefs. Is their one save point essentially was they wave clear AD carry. They have a wave clear mid laner. They just needed an assassin style of kill threat from the top laner that was going to be this Hecarim. But because Kalista is so far ahead and there is only a cloth armor available for Swiper, there is no actual answer to Rokinia besides him being mispositioned.
Well, I agree with Swiper's build just because he's going to be stuck against Seros for so much of this game from now on. So the game plan legitimately has to be somehow kill the Kalista, then I will tank everything else. And you can see that that's exactly what he's going for right now. It's just that they can't execute on step 1, which is somehow kill the Kalista. And you can see that because Udapon is 2-0-9, has all this extra gold from the 4 turrets that his team's got. Swiffer caught.
Oh, the hook finds Swiffer, but doesn't look like they're going to follow up. Zeros just lands some poke. And the split push has begun. Udapon looks to break down a tier 2. He doesn't even care that the turret's there anymore.
No, just going to continue to dirty farm between the turrets, and the siege is well and truly on here. It's Kazu just looking for hook after hook.
Zeke's Harbinger is filthy on Kalista as well. He's going to be hopping around everywhere, critting everything ever. It's a champion that doesn't have much crit. Pretty nice added feature, actually.
Udapon gets the top lane turret. The Chiefs wants to fight for some reason, not content to wave clear this one out. That's twice that Swiper's gone back to base and twice that he has to run out and try and defend.
Detonation Focusme continue to siege with a 1-4 split while the super minions rush down that mid lane.
You can see 2 levels right now for Udapon.
Ooh. Hook once again comes out from Kazu. Doesn't find a target this time, but he's got plenty of mana to keep chunking it out. And Swiffer, despite the power transfer shield, still gets chunked out.
So it's actually really hard for them to siege anything here, Detonation Focusme, because they've got a Diana and they're against
They've done the right thing now. So Udapon, all he needs to do is walk the lane into base and then make sure that he's behind the teams. And the Chiefs have to back off the turret because Maokai's an absolute monster. And that's exactly what he's doing. Look, they don't want to waste anything on Udapon. And all of a sudden, that lane much easier to shove up.
Hook once again misses Radier, used his spell shield. Udapon tries to zone him away, but they just can't quite break this turret.
That damage from Diana's Q alone is unreal. No one will live through her combo at this stage in the game. And even with the Maokai being a threat though, you have to admit, Chiefs are holding quite well, all things considered. But this Japanese side, again, they've got Baron up in 30 seconds. That's the objective that they need to actually aid in their further sieging.
Yeah, they're getting some recalls in right now. Rokenia heading back. Syros is the last person to get back to base. And there's the Black Cleaver as predicted. This is Detonation Focusme looking so strong. They're so methodical, not taking any chances with any dives in this set, and Chiefs are hanging on.
Chiefs are trying to hang on. Right now, Detonation Focusme world is their oyster. They've got the Baron objective up in now. It's going to just be like, it's so long as you have the Kalista, you can just sit there, tank it up there with your top laner, who's an absolute beast. Ensure that every single time the Chiefs run in, that you just have way too many spears in it. And once again, no good wards for the Hecarim to teleport to. Maybe on the top side of Baron this time around.
The inhibitor is available as well though, as of right now. So that'll help a lot with their control of the map to work around the Baron area. They don't have to constantly attend to the minions that will be pushed. But this Detonation Focusme side, they set up so very well for objectives. They're actually just going.
This is the danger, though, that they've put the home guard in base, and they actually take a lot of damage from it. So I don't agree with that, although now they have the flank.
The teleport, he's looking to get onto Radier. He catches up Spell Shield, and he gets knocked out. Chiefs effectively escape, and Swiper sitting in base with a teleport of his own.
And all of a sudden, they've got 2 waves that they have to go deal with. I think that they were much better off just putting Udapon in the pit, honestly, tanking it up forever, using all the spells, making sure Maokai is getting his health back, and forcing the Chiefs to come to them.
Yeah, the target selection as well onto Radier, looking to get rid of the Sivir, but he just has the spell shield, so didn't actually find the Victor, who would have been the ideal target, not having a summoner spell besides Flash, and that doesn't get you away from a Maokai's Twisted Advance whatsoever. So all things considered, the execution wasn't ideal, but he's almost got him now.
Oh, barely slowed out by the gravity field. Swiffer's able to get away from this one. Dragon is spawning. If they can't take the Baron, they'll take the smaller one instead. Detonation Focusme are grouped up on the pit while Seros splits with his teleport. Could be picked off, though. Oh, no, they back away.
Yeah, right now, I don't think he can be picked off. I think that he kills the jungler pretty easily. But Detonation Focusme, they take the Dragon. And now, once again, they're going to posture around the Baron area, see what they can find.
Chiefs managing to maintain a solid defense so far. They lost the inhibitor and were able to keep their others still standing for a long enough period of time for that middle one to come back. Syros now splitting on the bottom side of the map as Detonation Focusme keep trying to play around that teleport, but they just can't quite keep up with the Chiefs' wave preparation.
Yeah, Maokai not having the teleport available now has to be present, so they send the Diana down to do the job instead, and that actually plays into the hands of Detonation Focusme.
Much better.
A lot better than having a Maokai splitting against the Hecarim, because Diana can destroy Swiper in a 1v1 scenario, but he has chosen instead to go to that bottom lane.
They're going in.
The Chiefs are going.
Looking for a fight. Here comes Swiper. There's the teleport.
They got
Kazu goes low. He's pulled out. Udapon deep in. Syros gets onto Radier. Flash.
No.
He can't quite catch up in time. Zhonya's buys some time. Swiffer is already dead. Suddenly the Chiefs are back on the retreat. Egypt knocks away, and Radier is kiting out as best he can.
Oh.
He's trading 1-for-1 with Swiper to get that kill onto Syros. It's 3-for-1.
But can they get the steal here? You know, Kazu is so low. Udapon's still with the team.
Teleport's available.
Teleport is available out of Swipe. It doesn't look like the Chiefs want it, although they have a ward over the back of the pit. Once again, Udapon probably going to be too much.
Going for it.
I don't know whether you can get it, man. That's a Kalista.
He's been spotted
That's a
out.
lot of... That's a lot of spears.
Yeah, no, that's a whole lot of spears.
Drops the sweeper. Oh, doesn't quite steal it. Rokenia secures Baron to Detonation Focusme on top of 3 kills.
So that fight actually just was not executed well by the Chiefs at all. They press the go button and they just commit to the fight, and they do get one target down really low. Kazu was super low, but he just gets pulled in by a Kalista, and he's never going to go down, so he's not the first target that you're looking to hit. Rokenia shows up to the fight, and Victor, actually just completely flat.
Yeah, let's take another look. So Rokini got around the corner. It meant that the combo didn't go off, and now Ejim's on the back end. So first dash is used. Radier has to back away. Zonya's get the cooldowns back. Make sure that you're back here, able to dive again. And Radier gets a crit of a lifetime there, so that the Diana goes down whatsoever. Otherwise, that would have been a 4-for-1. And even worse news, and once again, they're sieging up mid lane. Once again, you feel the Chiefs have to give it up, because if they fight, they're going to lose.
Yeah, they are going to be taking this inhibitor. Chiefs do let it go as the Baroned up minions look to take it down. Their waves on the side lanes, however, are not prepared, so Chiefs at least get a few minutes of breathing room, but Detonation Focusme playing so patient closing this out.
Chiefs have just been starved for 30 minutes of this game, honestly. Since that first team fight in the bottom lane, they just have not been able to bounce back. All of a sudden, Syros has so much room around the map. Utapon is massive. Look how tall he is, at the least. That's not what I was going for, but he is. You know, he has a Thornmail, has those 4 pretty much completed items now, moving towards number 5 and 6. And the Chiefs just haven't had an answer all game long, and Japan have been playing this beautifully.
Yeah, look, they really haven't had an answer, and it's not a proactive style from Japan, it's just active. They know how to work the map, they're very aware of where they want to go next, and they do so, and they execute very soundly. But when they're ahead, that execution is actually far better than it otherwise would appear. So they find 3 kills under the Kalista, and immediately they start working the map like they have been doing this for years, and it was nothing for them to do.
Yeah, and now they're face taking up a turret. Not even waiting for the creeps to get here. Now they do arrive. This is number 2 going down.
Oh, knockup finds Rokinia, but Syros dives on the Radier and destroys him. Rokinia says, you are an unbreakable Alistar, but I am Kalista. He's going to chunk him out one moment the ultimate wears off. They continue to kite forward, and Chiefs are falling one by one. Swiper falls, Swiffer falls, Spooks goes down, and Ace for Detonation Focusme. They're going to get on the Nexus turrets. They're going to take the game against the Chiefs.
And the Japanese lineup absolutely dominate the Oceanic team. Detonation Focusme, clean ace, 12,000 gold, Nexus crushed, and the Chiefs are in disarray.
That was about as methodical as it could possibly be for this Japanese side. They win their lane, and from that they win the game. Very easily work from them.
And I cannot believe the Chiefs didn't respect the Kalista. Like, as a team that plays it so often that gets banned away from them, they leave it up. They don't respect Rokini after his 60 CS discrepancy, and he completely destroys them after that skirmish down bottom.
Yeah,
Not to mention the fact they didn't respect the lane swap. That was...
Yeah. So something that definitely shouldn't have happened. They were forced into lane swap scenarios, then they got forced into even worse scenarios by being
they picked a fight, man. They flashed on top of it. Teleport was available. Utapon able to get down there, impact the bottom lane. Radier stuck top lane. You know, there's nothing he can do in that case. You can see the Japanese lineup, grins on faces. That feels much better than losing a Dark Passage.
Oh, yeah. After that defeat against Dark Passage, it looks like a completely different team. Detonation Focusme with just a little bit of an advantage. They could be real contenders.
They warmed up and they woke up in that game. It was certainly a sight to behold. If the Chiefs can take down the Bangkok Titans and this Japanese side can take down the Chiefs, then we've got a tournament on our hands.
We certainly do.
Very open tournament to come out of this. And, you know, that's what you need, the momentum games. Day one, remember, you have to play everyone twice. All of a sudden, there's a little bit of a mental edge over the Oceanic team.
We'll have to see if they can take the win tomorrow when they play again. But Chiefs, you know, this wasn't the big highlight match for them. That's still coming up, the big grudge match, if you will.
Yeah, it certainly is, but that doesn't feel good going against Turkey right now because you saw what Turkey was able to do to Detonation Focusme. They were able to manhandle them around the rift, especially in that bottom lane. And this time around, the exact same thing has happened. So Radier, Ejim, they need to be able to pull it together in a 2v2 laning phase, you feel, because it's not working what they're doing.
And again, a lot of credit to this Japanese side for the way that they played the game out because they got a lead. They turned that lead into the rest of the game. But realistically, and as well as Japan played this, it comes down to the fact that Chiefs were the ones executing the fights. They were the ones looking for these fights when they really shouldn't have to be at all.
That was just, you throw a lot of things to shot calling, and you know the call for the Dragon was just not the correct call. And you have to credit like the Japanese team. Every single time the Chiefs made an error, they had the answer.
Oh, yeah.
Every single time they couldn't siege. They were like, we can pressure a neutral objective. every time the Chiefs went for a neutral objective, you know what? We can now push down waves really quickly. That's what our team comp does do.
Yeah.
We've rotated the 2 teleports around the map really well. All of a sudden, Hecarim always has someone answering him. And, you know, in the end, it won them the game.
It certainly did. But we're going to toss it out to Pastry Time and Frostgurin to break us through that last match.
Thank you very much, and congratulations to Japan. Detonation Focusme pick up their first win here at the International Wildcard Qualifiers. Things for Frostgurin really starting to heat up.
And I believe it's also Japan's second win internationally at an event, so big congratulations for them. And I think that really started in the draft phase. You know, the fact that this was a really important match for the Chiefs, they were the heavy favorites going into this match. Naturally, Detonation Focusme, the Japan lead, are the underdogs just because of how small the region is. Again, the smallest region of all the competing international wildcard teams. And from Purple side, the Chiefs were looking to pick up, not going to call it an easy win, but probably their most favorable win from the Purple side.
Yeah, you have to think so, but like we've seen in 2 Chiefs games already, it's actually honestly been the champion that got them the win in the first one and then maybe was their demise here. Let's talk about Kalista for us, I know a champion that you have a lot of thoughts about.
Okay, so everyone has a lot of opinions on Kalista, especially on the international stage. She's pretty much perma-banned in the LPL. We see her banned internationally in AEU. It really doesn't matter. And I'm not going to call it disrespect, but maybe a little bit underestimating by leaving Kalista open for the priority pick on blue side. Now, the beautiful thing about Kalista is just her build pass. So I want to talk about the 3 key items that Kalistas can rush, and it's going to be Hurricane, Blade of the Rune King, and Bloodthirster. Typically, the Bloodthirster has been phased out a bit. It's usually a response to a heavy assassin mid laner. So if you're facing against a Zed, a LeBlanc, something like that, you pick up the Bloodthirster to compensate for your shield when they go to try to burst you. In this case, Rokinia decided to go for that Bork build, so the Blade of the Rune King, and it makes perfect sense when you look at the Chiefs lineup. The fact that they had so much dive potential with the Rek'Sai, with the Hecarim, giving her that extra mobility and that trigger and proc to kite backwards out of danger.
Yeah, and again, Kalista, big pick for Raid. You've seen it constantly banned locally here in the OPL. No surprise that Rokinia had a good game on it, and we'll pull up a replay now because I'm pretty sure it started with this.
Okay, so this is going to be the triple kill snowball that starts out Detonation Focusme's train. So here we go. We can roll through this. So Rokinia takes a nice lantern back. What this does gives Spooks a double knockup. Like Jake said, if that Kazu hook had hit, it pretty much would have meant death. So Yutapon then is going to start his teleport as soon as he sees that Rokinia is in danger. Forced to flash backwards, but here comes the cavalry. And unfortunately, the flank is just way too much for the Chiefs. Now, Rokinia will get very low over the duration of this fight. Swiper just trying to do the best that he can. But Kalista and Dangerous Game just kiting backwards and really the big victory here. But triple kill Kalista, it turns the tides of this game.
Yeah, be building up all those Ren stacks, gets a huge amount of burst. And Spooksy flashed for the last auto and couldn't quite get the kill. And that was the snowball starting for Kalista. We saw Radier do well with it aggressively into the Bangkok Titans, and this time just from a very well-played 3v3, and all of a sudden Rokinia is 3-0.
And the thing is Kalista means so much, not just in a 2v2. She's a powerhouse, especially when she's in tandem with that Thresh, but objective control. Anytime you give away a Kalista, you effectively sacrifice all objective control. If she's ever on top of that dragon, if she's ever on top of that Baron, she has the Ren stacks. We saw it in the very last Baron fight. You know, Spooks, he made the correct call. If I go in, there's no way I'm going to outsmite it. My best chance is just to throw a Prey Seeker and hope that he didn't do his math correctly.
Yep, and I mean, that's the only way you can really steal anything from Kalista. It's not quite 100%, but it's 99 point something. It's very high, and we've seen that a lot. We see Kalista Nunu was a relatively popular duo for a while when Kalista's been big, and she's had some changes, but still a really popular champion, very powerful as well. And
I mean, to be honest, it's really hard to prepare and look for these things. So we know that Rokinia, he prefers to be an AD carry player, but his selling point, and anytime you do any backup or looking into Detonation Focusme, his selling point is just a jack of all trades. You wouldn't expect him to come out this hot and heavy on a champion like Kalista to be able to carry there, especially because the first look that the Chiefs got at Detonation Focusme was against Dark Passage, and he had just pretty much a flop of a Tristana game.
Well, you don't get to master in Korea just by mucking around, that's for sure. So Rokinia really showing off. We do have another replay, though, because this game was very back and forth for a while, but Detonation Focusme off that snowball really started owning these early fights.
So the big thing here is just how these flashes are used in the very beginning. So what you're going to see here is Swiffer on the bottom of your screen. He's immediately going to flash and dodge the hook that Kazu's going to throw at him. And why this is so important is because it's followed up by the cask. And because Swiffer doesn't have his flash, because he uses it before the fight even starts, he's pretty much screwed when he gets knocked into the middle of Detonation Focusme. Will you go ahead and roll the clip? Bam, there it is. There's the flash. So he starts dropping all of his AoE damage. Swiper comes in here. He has a fantastic ult, but then here's just Cask into it. Swiffer completely deleted from the fight, and this is just the gold lead, and this Callista speaking for itself as Detonation Focusme clean up the rest of the fight and push forward.
And we sort of noted something there from Sivo. You might look at Raiden and be like, well, why is he in the middle of the enemy team? As it turns out, that's sort of how you need to play Siva, because you do damage at a very short range. So if you can't run with your front line effectively and do damage as they're CCing for you, you're just not going to get any work done, especially against a Callista that's had such a good start.
It was a great composition coming out of the Chiefs. You know, the tandem of Sivir and Hecarim, there's a lot of synergy there just because our ultimate's going to augment directly the damage that Hecarim will do with his devastating charge. But unfortunately, again, that snowball early. But Japan, showing that if you give them a lead, that if they're on even footing, they can keep up.
Certainly can here. And the Chiefs played a composition that certainly suits them. Lots of scaling triple threats, but couldn't quite get the farm. We have another replay now as well. This time, things are going a little bit better.
Big thing, though, is also just the gold disparity between these two teams. Right now, Japan is sitting on a 5K gold lead over Oceania. And again, anytime Callista is on top of an objective, you've pretty much already sacrificed the objectives. Chiefs do a good job pulling the trigger and looking, because again, you're not going to outsmite this, you have to fight it. So the Chiefs make the correct and the smart decision here. Unfortunately, gold lead speaks for itself. We can go ahead and roll the clip. So what's going to happen is EGM gets a beautiful knock up here that's followed up by all of the Chiefs just running in. But again, it's really just this gold disparity speaking for itself. The Baron does come through in the very end. Good job securing that. And then just Saros running through the team. Because at this point, not only is Callista massive, but Diana is massive.
Yeah, and let's talk about that pick as well there for Saros in the mid lane. Very popular pick for him. We've talked about a lot of teams back in Japan like to really target him out with the Zillion, with the Azir, and with the Ari bands. Diana's another one of his big champions. And he had a fine landing phase against Victor. Definitely a lot of farming there. But the late game damage that we saw, the ability to just jump on an E-carry, really hurt the Chiefs. Because like you said, Rakini is already off to the races, and Saros was right there with him towards the end of the game.
And you know, we talk about Yutapon a lot, but Saros is the primary secondary carry of Detonation Focusme. He's been around for a long time, the international or the Japanese professional scene. In this split alone, he played like 13 unique champions. And again, they only play 10 games, but this is also including the playoffs on top of that. So he has a pretty vast champion pool, at least what we've shown competitively. But taking out the Diana, I know this is going to sound kind of like a backhanded compliment, but I honestly think that the Zillion ban helps Detonation Focusme, because Zillion is just, he's not that great in the 1v1 lane. Yes, Saros got ahead on it, and he's shown great proficiency on the champion back home, but in most of these matchups, I would rather just give him Zillion as opposed to banning it out and forcing him onto Assassin, where he can make big plays.
Yeah, and we saw that in the first series they had against Turkey, so makes sense there. We do have a last replay here as well. Again, the Chiefs did a good job delaying this game, but it was 5,000 gold before. You can see already Detonation Focusme up now 7,500 gold.
This is kind of the last-ditch effort from the Chiefs, and again, they do posture and position very well for this team fight, but you're just too far behind at this point in terms of your gold lead. Big thing that I want to point out is, of course, that Swiper is on the very top, so just a beautiful collapse. We can go ahead and run this through. Okay, there we go. So great hook from Kazu. He's then pulled to safety by Callista, so they're not going to trade 1-for-1. Swiffer is then so out of position just because he tried to follow that one through. And again, Detonation Focusme, they get all of their resources in one arrow, and they pretty much just spearhead straight through the Chiefs.
And Saros literally runs at them in the back line.
Gets a triple grab.
Takes Radio out, does eventually go down, but the damage was already done. Swiffer tried to effectively assassinate Rakinia because he knew if they got the kill there, they could probably still win a team fight, but Diana's huge, Callista's going off, and the triple threats for Chiefs, they were there if they got enough gold, but they fell just a little too far behind.
And at that point, when you're that far behind, you just can't afford to make any more mistakes. That sounds very obvious, but both these teams are making continual mistakes throughout the game. It just came down to Chiefs made a massive one early that snowballed everything out of control.
Yeah, and you can see Callista, a pick that we're probably going to see less of as the tournament drags on. You have to think pretty much everyone's going to be able to play it at this point. If Detonation Focusme is starting to pull it out, it's already pretty much a permaban all around the world. Don't think we'll be seeing that one again, but well played there by both sides. I'll start this tournament now, 1-1 apiece, so getting pretty murky as far as the records go, and might have getting easier, especially if C can pick up a win as well. Remember, double round robin, relatively long tournament as far as the group stages go. You do have to play a lot of games, and there are some crazy tiebreaker scenarios as well. So every game is very important.
And I believe we also have a 100% win rate for blue side
think
so
so as
far.
well.
So again, it was kind of a big, important match for the Chiefs just because they were facing the underdogs going into the international wildcard, Detonation, Focusme from red side. Unfortunately, not able to make that connect. Again, blue side, 100% win rate so far.
Yeah, it's looked really good here as well. But the tournament been a lot of fun so far. We've seen every team kind of really strut their stuff. Dark Passage looked just as terrifying as we expected. Even the loss that Bangkok Titans had was a very well-fought game against the Chiefs. So it's clear that since last tournament especially, everyone just really lifted their game.
Yeah, and I want to kind of go and touch on the growth that Japan has made again. The fact that they came out so strong against Dark Passage. The fact that they were now unable to unseat the Chiefs. This is a massive victory for Detonation, Focusme, and Japan as a region.
Yeah, it certainly is. We'll have to see if it gets any better. But for now, let's learn a little bit more about the Bangkok Titans.